The road to fix Healthcare.gov is definitely a bumpy ride. Hello, everybody. I'm Harris Faulkner in tonight for my friend Greta Van Susteren. We were just 5 hours away from the Obamacare deadline day, but just moments ago, Fox News confirmed the giant website will now be down for extended maintenance starting at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That means we will not see any sort of launch at midnight. In the past few days, the White House has consistently been lowering the bar ahead of the fixed deadline. But how low can they go? Former Congressman Alan West joins us now. Congressman, no time like the present to bring you in for some breaking news tonight. Lower the bar even further. What is going on?
Well, I think this is incredible. First of all, they should not have put their own set mandate on it because now everyone is watching them. And for them to continually come back and say that we can only take 50,000 or as you just reported, it's going to be down, this is eroding the confidence and the credibility not just of the Obama administration, but of President Obama himself. And even worse, the political ramifications it's going to have that goes throughout the Democrat Party is going to be absolutely chilling because they can't explain this away anymore. We really do have some problems. And so what you're seeing is not just the website, but the entire policy or law, if you want to call it that. And it's hard to call it a law with all the waivers, exemptions, and delays that have been granted out there. The American people don't know where this is going right now. And to be told that you're going to have a 20% failure rate, that 20% of people won't be able to get on it, what does that mean for those 20% that are still going to be looking to have health care coverage?
Yeah, it's interesting to hear the White House, though, talk about it. They call it an 80% success rate. But you're right, 1 in 5 people won't be able to get signed on for their health care insurance. Yeah. You know, Congressman, I'm curious. You've been in politics, you've run campaigns, you've won them and run them. You understand messaging. I feel like in the last few days we've kind of been in hype in reverse, setting us up almost for nothing to happen. What are you expecting come tomorrow?
Well, I think that right now you saw a president that was trying to talk more so about immigration reform than talk about this current pressing issue because they don't have any answers. They don't have anywhere else to go. And so I believe that you will see internal pressure within the Democrat Party to say, we've got to put this thing on timeout. We've got to, look at how do we go back to the drawing board, really. Now, the question is the president willing to set aside his arrogance and really look at this health care law, this policy, and say, you're right. With this thing is totally unworkable. And let's not forget this, Harris, that between 1 October and 1 March, they're supposed to hit the magic number of 7 million Americans to be enrolled into the healthcare exchanges. That means about 55,000 Americans a day in order to make the sustaining numbers that they need for this to go afloat. They're not going to hit that.
No, well, they can't hit it if 50,000 people or less are the max for signing on. I mean, that would be almost impossible if you do the math. Well, we're about to see Healthcare.gov do something for a second time. They say in the White House, don't call it a relaunch. I don't know what term you'd call it. But are we any farther now from the initial rollout to where we are today in terms of all of Obamacare?
No, I don't think you've gotten anywhere, close to being successful in a rollout. Look, Harris, the thing is very simple. If you've given all of these delays and pushbacks for the employer mandate and what have you, the same thing needs to be done for the individual mandate. But really, what we should do is go back to the drawing board. If you're concerned about people with pre-existing conditions, then establish the high-risk pools and look at the appropriate types of subsidies for them. We're not talking about tort reform. That's a major way to bend the cost curve in health care. We need to be doing that. We need to look at how we break down the state-by-state mini monopolies, which can encourage competition, and that can help to drive costs down. And then also we need to be promoting health savings accounts and not taxing health savings accounts, which is what the Obamacare does. So really, you're talking about not just a website failure, you're talking about a policy failure.
What's interesting inherent in what you were just saying is that you've come up with the talking points, if you will, for the GOP to give a replacement tact, if you will, a strategy against what's failing. I want you to take a look at something with me. I don't know if you caught this today, Congressman. Health Secretary Kathleen Sebelius wrote a blog ahead of the deadline, which we know now is kind of a moving target with now an extension, and they're going to shut it down overnight. But some highlights on the screen for you and all of our viewers now. I just want you to see, she's kind of put a shopping theme to getting coverage on Healthcare.gov once it goes live again. A holiday shopping thing. She says the product is popular, so avoid the lines and shop Healthcare.gov during off-peak hours, morning, nights, weekends. Well, that sounds like a lot of hours that would be off-peak. It sounds like it's going to be crowded, which gets them right back into the problem that they were trying to avoid. Then the next point is have your income and tax information ready when you log on. And there are 23 shopping days in December for coverage starting January 1st, 2014. No need to rush, unless, of course, you've got a cancellation notice and you are desperate to get health care before the 1st. Your thoughts?
Well, isn't it very amazing that we have the United States federal government that is starting to sound like a very cheap retailer? And I don't think that that, once again, helps the confidence and credibility of this administration. And no, well-driven, poll-tested, market-driven little gimmick is going to solve this issue. The American people are very concerned. And even when you think about what the Congressional Budget Office says, 10 years into this, they're still saying there'll be 30 million people without health care coverage, which I thought that was the original intent. 5 million people have lost their coverage, and it's explicably been articulated that it's because of Obamacare. So they're creating more problems than they are solving problems. And once again, these little gimmick and trite comments that she's putting out there is not going to solve the problem. They got to go back to the drawing board. And I think when you see these Democrat senators and members of Congress come back to Washington, D.C. for the last few days before the Christmas break, they're going to put pressure on this administration.
Well, they had a homework assignment of trying to sell the good parts of Obamacare over the holiday. You paint a very different picture. We will see how it all comes back on Monday.
They probably got an F on their homework assignment.
Uh-oh. Congressman Alan West, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Fox News Alert.